My name is Slipa Tupuola, over the teaching family model at the Children's Bureau. When Sean first came into the home, like I said, it was, he was rolling around on the ground, he was threatening, he was just yelling at the top of his lungs and just crying, just nonstop. And it went on for like 4 hours. And even at some points, he'd get up and kick the walls, punch the walls, threatening everybody and anybody that he could talk to. But eventually, as he's was learning these skills of accepting consequences, it went from that to, I remember there was a specific incident where he was so upset, but instead of breaking things, he would walk up. So we used to have this wall of pictures, frames. He walked up to these pictures, and he was so angry that he grabbed the pictures, but instead of pulling them off and throwing them on the ground and breaking them, he'd pull it off the wall and just hold it really tightly, but then set it down really softly. Like it was so interesting to see how he not only was internalizing all these other skills that we're working with, but like controlling his emotions, dealing with his frustrations. And it went from being so physical, so physically aggressive, to just placing this little frame and gripping it tightly, just slowly pacing it down on the counter, and then going up to another picture, holding it and screaming at it, and then just slowly laying it down. So it was very different, right? You could see the dynamics of him just internalizing all those skills, and at those times too, when he's doing that, you're like, man, great job. You know, you're not breaking that picture. And then he'd look at you and just scream, and just, you could just see his frustrations. But at the end, it was just super calm, and you could talk to him and you could say, hey, you know, I saw you doing this. You were grabbing the pictures, you weren't breaking them. And he would just say, you know, I was so angry, but I knew I didn't want to go there, because I knew some of the consequences that would come from that would be, now I have to pay for the frames. Now I'd get glass everywhere. Now I'd have to clean it all up because I did it, you know. And it went from that to just yelling at a picture, and eventually he could just sit there and just rock back and forth, clench his fist, whatever it may be. But yeah, it was such a success in seeing the progression towards accepting a consequence, expressing his feelings, dealing with his frustrations, to now he's just playing basketball at the school, playing football, loving sports, loving life, and just a great kid. It's interesting when you do use effective praise during a tantrum, just because when a child is obviously in a whirlwind of emotions during a tantrum or whatever it may be, when you praise them, even just for the smallest things, it allows them to see almost like the light at the end of the tunnel, that, oh wow, okay, I can make good choices, I can do good things. Yeah, I'm going through this right now. It's almost like you're coaching them up through a tantrum. You know, knowing that someone is there while they're doing this. You know, they're so used to, you're having a tantrum, go to your room, you know, whatever, go over there and yell or scream, whatever. But I feel that as I sit there and coach them through the emotions, and it allows them to, you can build that relationship. That relationship is there, and it's lasting too, knowing that, hey, this person is going to be with me when I'm yelling, when I'm screaming, when I'm breaking things. And even when I'm having a good time too. So when we were in our home, we started realizing that a lot of the kids, when they get so mad or get so frustrated, they would either find something so valuable or something that they could break. And so instead of nailing pictures and putting things up, we were finding that we had to replace them really more frequent, because kids were pulling them off the wall and breaking them. And so what we did was we put Velcro on the pictures and replaced all the glass with the plastic acrylic, I think, or whatever it is. We replaced it with that. And so when kids would get mad, it wasn't a huge expense or whatever what it was, so that they could just pull them off, and then when the tantrum's done, everything's fine, we can just put them back up with Velcro. It was pretty sweet.